Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. In today's podcast, we are going to be talking about what are we going to be talking about? Mastering the art of reinvention, thriving in a consistently evolving world. The edge of reinvention. This is what we're going to be talking today. So, in today's world, standing still is not an option. Reinvention is not longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether in your career, personal life, or business, the ability to adapt, pivot, and transform is what separates those who thrive from those who fade into irrelevance. But reinvention isn't just about reacting to change, it's about intentionally designing your evolution. So, this episode will take you in deep into the mindset, strategies, and actionable steps required to master the art of reinvention, ensuring that no matter what comes next, you're prepared, adaptable, and always ahead of the curve. So, let's get started. Why reinvention is non negotiable? The myth of stability. For centuries, people operated under the assumption that once they reach a certain level, whether in their careers, business, or personal lives, they could maintain that position indefinitely. But the truth is, industries are being redefined overnight. Entire jobs functions are being automated. Business are going extinct and consumer preferences are shifting rapidly. Traditional career paths are disappearing. The idea of working in one industry for a long time or lifetime is fading. Today, multiple career shifts are the new norm. And that is true. If you're looking in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s, you had people who started their job, I don't know, maybe as an accountant somewhere in a company, and still through they retired, they were doing exactly the same job. Now, because of the industry and the evolution, we are adapting and shifting and changing work more than ever. Technology is moving as an exponential rate that we know what was cutting edge yesterday is obsolete today. The rate of change has never been faster. Personal reinvention is critical for fulfillment. Sticking to a single identity, professions, or way of thinking can lead to stagnation. Growth or reinvention go hand on hand. Yes, reinvention and growth, they work together. We talked about the case study of Kodak, the cost of failing to reinvent. Kodak was once the dominant player in the photography industry. In fact, they invented a digital camera in 1975. Do you imagine that? But instead of embracing this innovation, they buried it, fearing it would cannibalize their film business. As digital photography took off in 2000s, Kodak was left scrambling to catch up. By the time they acknowledged the need to pivot, it was too late. In 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy, a cautionary tale of what happens when an organization resists reinvention. And you know, the sad part is, if you think about it, in 1975, they invented the Polaroids. You had your little camera, you press on it, you get your little paper coming out, you waited a few minutes, and voila, the pictures arrive. You would think, as innovator, because they had a big market at that time, they would have had the forefront runners for innovation. They did not. They were not focusing on expanding their portfolio and moving further ahead with that digital photography. And that was their downfall. That's too bad. If you're looking at others, Minolta, Kodak, and others, they turn theirs to from film to digital as well. So you look at the evolution, and a mistake from someone who did not want it to change cost an entire companies to be now in 2025 here. So are you waiting for change to force your hand, or are you actively shaping your own reinvention? And it is us as well. The psychology of reinvention, why we fear change. Even when we know reinvention is necessary, why do so many people resist it? The answer lies deep in your own psychology. And the fear of the unknown is something that really push people where, you know, it's like not being controlled. This is where you're not in control of anything. And I think this is where people have a fear. The fear of the unknown, you cannot plan anything. You are at the mercy, quote unquote, of the universe. And our brains are wired for familiarity. We lack all the routine. We like to be in that little safe, illusional box. Anything uncertain feels like a threat. The ego and identity attachment. People resist change because they have built their identity around a specific job, a title, or a way of life. That is so true. Having somebody changing the way of their life is not that easy, for the good, the bad, or the ugly. Analysis paralysis. Too many choices can overwhelm us, making it easier to do nothing than to take a risk. Social pressure and expectations. Friends, family, and colleagues often reinforce the status quo, discouraging drastic changes. This is true. How many times do you had people who said, no, you should not do it, blah, 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 where you should have, but you did not listen to your gut feeling, but somebody else's. And at the end of the day, you don't blame them, you blame yourself for taking that decision, because you're the one who took that decision at the end of the day. Surround yourself with the right people. Sunk cost falsely. So we talked about the more time and effort we invest in something, the harder it is to walk away. Even if reinvention is the best, their choice. And that is something you have to let it go. After a while, you have to, when you spend so much investment on something, realize if that works or not. If it doesn't work and you feel it's not going to work, hitting the wall is not going to help. Okay? You have to take the time to step back and realize that maybe it's time for me to do something else or to move. Like we see often in projects, when something doesn't work. This is what I like the agile style, because you break down your project by milestone and you do your iterations by, you can do iterations at different levels. And what doesn't work, you can stop it in the middle. In a waterfall, it's a little harder because you basically halt the entire project. In agile, because you're taking those milestones and you divided everything, you can work on some of the iteration. If it doesn't work, then you learn that, well, that doesn't work, so we need to go back to the drawing board and do something different. That's the option you've got. So this is what we've got to do. If it doesn't work, then we have to modify where we are. We have to walk away from what we're doing and do something slightly different. And maybe that little slight difference movement is going to help you. So reframe change as an opportunity. Instead of seeing reinvention as starting over, see it as a leveling up. Change are helping to level up. It's a step up. That's what you got to see it. Develop a growth mindset, and let's embrace the idea that your skills, intelligence, and career path are not fixed. They are variable. They are always evolving, and that's something people don't understand. That's why when you take the time to educate yourself, learn more about what's going on within your industry, within your career, within your title, let's say you're in marketing and gonna learn more about the marketing side of it and how it's evolving, what changes are coming around, then you apply this at work. So you can apply some of those positive changes as well. Expose yourself to new experiences. The more you immerse yourself in change, the less intimidating it becomes. That's something, yeah, like I said, learning, training, do things different, have the opportunity to do that beautiful learning and growth that way. Practice micro reinvention. Start with small changes, new skills, new networks, new habits. Here we go. Before making major shift. The question for you is, what mental barriers are currently blocking you back from embracing reinvention? Because that's the key. What is it blocking you? What is the issue? Now, the DNA of reinventors. How do the most successful people reinvent themselves? Some people not only adapt to change but thrive because of it. What makes them different? What habit, beliefs, and strategy do they embrace that others don't? So the common traits of reinventors, they think beyond the present. They don't just see what's in front of them, but they anticipate what's coming next. They see the bigger picture. They are willing to let go of the past. They don't cling to outdated identities, career, or ideas. If it doesn't work, we move on. They are constant learners. They prioritize continuous education, whether through books, mentorship, or hands on experience. So that's easy for everyone to do this. They surround themselves with innovators. They actively engage with people who challenge conventional thinking. People that rattle you because they're going to push the envelope and don't take a no for an answer. Like again, Steve Jobs was one of the biggest one because a lot of people said he was horrible, he was mean, he was this, he was that. No, he was thriving to push people beyond. That's how he became number one with the phone, with all of the inventions that he did. That's how they became who they are and still are through these days. Because he challenged the status quo. He pushed people beyond the limits that people had. And that's what great innovators do. They move fast, iterate, and they take action, test ideas quickly, and adjust as needed instead of waiting for the perfect moment. They do. They just move and they continue to push. Now we're going to talk about quickly about Oprah Winfrey, the power of reinvention. She started as a local new anchor before transitioning into the talk show that we all know. But she did not stop here. She actually, over the decade, transformed her show into a global media empire for sure, launched her own network instead of relying on traditional TV. So she moved from Chicago, our entire production, also to LA, built a billion-dollar personal brand beyond just television, evolved into a cultural leader, author, and business mogul. Her ability to continuously reinvent herself allowed her to stay relevant and dominate multiple industries, which is true if you're looking at what she has done. So the question for you is, what habits can you adapt today that will help you become a master of reinvention? Even a small little step. Don't asking you to eat the entire enchilada, but it's the little step that will really thrive you. And I said, learning, very simple. You can take classes online. Look on YouTube channel even. If you're looking for AI, for automation, stuff like that, you can get this even for free. Continue to listen what new, I say younger generation, but new trends on how to simplify, automate what you're doing online. There is a lot of information right there. So you can keep up with everything. And I think it's pretty good. Now, the reinvention blueprint, a step-by-step framework for transforming yourself. 1, identify what needs to change. Where you feel stuck or unfulfilled? And you know what? Be honest with yourself, because one of the biggest things when you ask this question is you have to be brutally honest with yourself. If you're not, and that becomes a problem. So identify where you feel stuck or unfulfilled. Maybe it's at work, maybe it's at home, maybe you don't feel you're being seen. What aspect of your career, skills, or mindset are outdated? Maybe you need to learn more about AI right now. Maybe you need to learn more about automation. Maybe you learn to more about analysis, KPI, something that is necessary and you have not mastered. Expand your vision. Don't just focus on what's next thing, but think bigger. What's the next things? Yeah, great, but think bigger. You have to see it bigger. You have to see a bigger picture. You have to see things further than what you're seeing right now. What will your ideal reinvention looks like in 5 years? So that is part of the expand your vision. Take the time to think about it. 3, build new skill set and knowledge. Identify the key skills that needed for your next evolution. Invest in courses, mentorship, or hand-on experience. Do it. Build your new skill set. Throughout the years, I have learned so many skill sets. I have learned so many software. Even the experience when I began a few decades ago till now, I utilize most of those skill sets or some of it for projects that I'm working in. But that experience helped me to grow and build on to the next one and to the next one and to the next one. So that's what you have to think. What do I need to continue to expand my skill set, excuse me. It's like a baker, it's like a realtor. You continue to learn on your skill set. Maybe you're good at one thing, then you're going to learn another thing. It's always changing and evolving. Challenge yourself, challenge the status quo. Start small and move fast. So true. A lot of people don't do this. The macro reinvention is key. Make small but consistent changes that compound over time. You have to do it. But you have to do it small. Don't feel like it's not like a kid in the front of a candy store have a bigger eyes than a stomach. Take small steps so you don't overwhelm yourself and you're not going to hit the wall and feel like, oh, well, I cannot do this. This is not for me, when it is for us. So take the time to cut it into small pieces in order for you to be successful. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Find communities, mentors, or groups that encourage reinvention. Cut ties with environment that resist growth. Take action before you feel ready. Most people wait too long. Start before you're ready. I always say when I do things, I go messy. I go messy because you know what? I'm learning. And when I do this, I don't set high expectation and fell short of it because I set too much expectation. I just go messy and say, well, deal with it. I'm going to learn along the way. What's one small action you can take today towards your reinvention? Which one is it? And start to do it. Reinvention is the ultimate superpower. The future belongs to those who can adapt, evolve, and reinvent themselves continuously. You can either wait for a change to disrupt you, or you can take control and disrupt yourself. Because at the end of the day, changes happen all around us. Are we adaptable? Yes, we are. Are we willing to do it? Maybe, maybe not. So the ability to reinvent is not a skill, it is a mindset. Every moment is an opportunity to evolve into something greater. So, identify one area in your life or career that needs reinvention. Take one step today toward the change. Share your thoughts on social media. What's the time you successfully reinvented yourself? And what's a reinvention challenge you're currently facing? And the question I have for you is now the question is, how will you reinvent yourself? Think about it. Are you willing to really challenge the status quo or continue and get into the flow of the evolution? What do you want to do? That's the question. Think about yourself, think about where you want to be, because I can promise you, when you adapt to the evolving, changing world we're living in, you are better off. So, all my love, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast. Emma's Universe Podcast.